It's not going to be that.
This brother's doing their job.
Exactly.
And that goes right into my next question. So you currently work at the Fox Sports Radio show, The Odd Couple, with your co-host Chris Broussard, a good friend of both of ours. What was your relationship like with Chris, and where did Odd Couple idea come from, which you kind of mentioned earlier, but dive into it more a little bit.
So Chris and I, obviously, we're both on the newspaper trail. Chris was working in Cleveland and Akron and whatnot. And when he met me, I was a beat writer covering the Cincinnati Reds for the Cincinnati Enquirer. And back then it was a big deal because there was only 2 black baseball writers in the entire country. So when he met me, you know, it was like, wow, he covers baseball. You know, there were a lot of young black writers at that time who were looking up to me like, oh, you know, like he's got a major beat at a big paper, you know, a bigger paper. And so we became friendly. And it's like a fraternity because there's so few of us. You get to know everybody. You travel the country, NBA finals, all the writers are together. When I covered the NBA, so we would sit at tables 20 deep, and it would be everybody from all over the country. Get Mike Wilbon covering the Washington Bullets, you know what I mean? And and then every writers from all different cities. And then The Odd Couple was our boss, Don Martin. He heard us together on Chris's podcast. He had a basketball podcast. So he heard us, and Chris and I were working at Fox Sports Radio. We had a weekend show, but it was separate. I was on a show with a guy, Mark Willard, and Chris was on a show with Mark Willard on another day. So we weren't together. So Don Martin listened to the podcast, and he went to our programmer, Scott Shapiro, and said, "Man, these guys are really good. They should be on. They should be on together. Why we have them separate?" So it was his idea to put us together. We did a show on a Sunday for about 4 or 5 months, and then they graduated us to a daily national show, and we are the Odd Couple. We really are. And so, you know, the name comes from the TV show The Odd Couple. But Chris and I are 2 different people.
Personalities.
Yeah, we're just different, you know. And so, you know, when you hear the open and, you know, it's like Chris is married with 2 kids and Rob's divorced and no kids. And Chris is at church on Sunday and I'm in the strip club on late Saturday night. It's all, it's, you know, like it really is.
It really is the Odd Couple.
Yeah, we're the Odd Couple. So it's natural. People seem to love it,
and it's genuine.
It's not forced where we're trying to get Chris to be something he's not, or you're asking me to be somebody different than I really am. So it's a real energy, real synergy, and the show is both fun and informative, and I think that's why we've had success.
Yeah, this quick story to get to the next question. I actually met Chris on my flight back from LA last August, coming back from vacation with my cousin, and that's how I met him. And it was like it wasn't planned or anything. Coming back on the plane, going up flight, and Chris, we meet, and then I was like, oh my God, that's Chris Broussard. And then he sits down, and I'm like, Chris Broussard? And he was like, hey, young fella, nice to meet you. Shakes his hand, all that. And I was like, wow. And then we just talked about life, talked about sports, showed him my stuff, and he was genuinely impressed. And he was like, hey, young fella, I'm really impressed by your work. I have my guy Rob Parker, right for LB Bro. I see you like to write about baseball too. I said, yeah, I'm open-minded. And then that's how I met Chris. And then he even gave me his email and phone number. I was like, wow. Like, I didn't ask for it, nothing. He was just so impressed by my work. And then that's how, you know, eventually met. If I don't meet Chris, I don't meet you. Just like if that flight was 1 hour later, 1 hour earlier.
Or something, right. That's how life is.
It's funny how life works. It really is. It really is.
It's pretty amazing, yeah.
Yeah.